We could not be more honored to have with us tonight three-star Admiral Sean Pybus as our featured speaker this evening. I can't think of anyone more appropriate or more qualified to share some aspiring words on this significant anniversary. After graduating from the University of Rochester in 1979, Admiral Pybus dedicated his life to defending our country. He graduated college having already earned a Navy commission through the ROTC program, and later that year, he graduated the Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Training, beginning a 34-year career as a Navy SEAL and a naval officer. He is one of only 10 Navy SEALs in U.S. history to have risen to Vice Admiral rank or higher. If I could please have your attention. Admiral Pybus has served several tours of duty here in Tampa at U.S. Special Operations Command at MacDill Air Force Base. His final tour of duty was as Deputy Commander of all U.S. Special Operations Forces for 2014 through 2016. He participated in special operations in Latin America, Europe, Africa, and Asia, and served in command roles in Panama, Germany, and Bahrain, and had additional statewide assignments in California and Hawaii. Among his many awards are the Defense Distinguished Service Medal, Defense Superior Service Medal, and the Legion of Merit and Meritorious Service Medal. He is also a distinguished graduate of the Naval War College with a master's degree in strategic studies. Admiral Pybus is currently the chairman of the board for the Special Operations Memorial Foundation and chairman of the board for the Navy SEAL Foundation, headquartered in Virginia Beach. We are also pleased to have the Admiral's wife, Patty, with us here this evening. Together, they have 4 children, all who have followed their father's footsteps and served in the military. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm Tampa Bay welcome to one of this nation's outstanding military leaders, Admiral Sean Pybus.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Steve. The mission is mentorship. I can't tell you how thankful Patty and I are to be here with you tonight at a very, very positive event. 9/11 this year was not the anniversary that we expected it to be, and that's often how life works. But it is a pleasure and an honor to be with you. I was listening to a press conference from the Pentagon almost 2 weeks ago, and the press was questioning General Mark Milley, who's the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I know General Milley. I've known him quite some time. And he was being pressed very hard by the press, rightly so. But in response to one of the questions, he told the press corps, you know, I wasn't born a 4-star general. Meaning to say that for General Milley, since 9/11, he spent the better part of those 20 years leading troops in Afghanistan and Iraq, leading staffs, commanding, and losing troops in those places. It's human. He understands, you know, why he's getting questioned about some of the military moves that we have made in the previous weeks. But I can relate to that. When 9/11-2001 came around, I was already a 20-year naval officer, a captain, And as an aside, it was probably my first serious mentorship role with the U.S. Navy. I was in charge of writing the orders for all 500 SEAL officers in our force. So I would tell them where to go. They would tell me where to go. And then we'd move on. So, but obviously for 9/11 and afterwards, it was, we switched into overdrive, made a lot of changes, and stayed very busy. But in the coming years after the original 9/11, I spent 2 years commanding the SEAL organization. I spent 1 year commanding the NATO Special Operations Organization, which was fighting in Afghanistan. And so I know the cost. I know what was given, I know what we paid, and I know what General Milley was talking about. But I just want you to know, through my military lens, that 18, 19, and 20-year-old kids have been carrying the day for the United States of America overseas to keep that fight over there and not here. And you should be very proud of what they accomplished. So I grew up in what you can call a very normal bubble. I mean, we moved once. My father was a naval officer in his early days and then became a research scientist. He went to Oklahoma to study severe weather. That's a good place to do that. And of course, he and my mother were great mentors and role models with some authority. My idol was one of my uncles. I had several that served in World War II in Korea, but I had my favorite one was a career soldier. He became the first sergeant major of the United States Army in 1967. But at an early age of 8 or 9, I decided that I wanted to be like him. And getting a scholarship, as Steve mentioned, from the Navy, going to school, and then getting orders to basic underwater demolition SEAL training in Coronado. There I discovered very quickly that of about the 150 classmates I started training with, most of them didn't come from normal bubbles. Many came from households with one parent, some with no parents, some in trouble with the criminal justice system. Now they were all focused enough to get orders to this elite training. Unfortunately, most of them didn't make it through, as is the case with that program. Those that did make it through, I communicate with many of them to this day, and I graduated in 1979, so we're talking quite a number of years ago. But you become very close. But it has always struck me that with some mentorship at an early age, many of our littles can accomplish great things. And I remain very, very optimistic about our youth. My second discovery as a young officer in the SEAL program was that I became the mentor whether I wanted to or not, because I became in charge of these young men. And I had to learn a lot. I had to learn on the fly. I had to be an authority figure, which can be very difficult. But those first 8 years of my career were the most satisfying that I've ever had, because you're close, you can make a difference, you can see a difference, and our young men and women respond to good leadership, mentorship, commitment on your part. to do great things. So I didn't know it at the time, but as I was being a young SEAL officer, I began to become mentored myself by those senior officers that I worked for and with. It was several years before I even understood that they had been endorsing me or advocating for me. And I certainly wouldn't be here talking to you without their help. Two of the most important came through this town as leaders at U.S. Special Operations Command. The first was Admiral Eric Olson, who I met first in 1983. He rose to be our first four-star admiral in charge of Special Operations Command. Followed by Bill McRaven. I was the commander of the SEAL organization in California, and this was 2012. We were having a problem, as I thought it was, a problem. A number of our SEALs were getting out writing books. Now, I've never been a big fan of those who get out and write books about what we do. And I was kind of upset because we had, I was brought up not to discuss anything. We're here for the deed, not the honors. And Admiral McRaven was here in Tampa at Special Operations Headquarters at the time, and I called the good admiral and I said, "Hey, sir, I'm upset that we have these book writers and not happy with it." And he goes, "Well, Sean, I've written a couple of books myself." I said, so the next week I got orders to Germany. But my point with that is, and I still remain in touch both ways, mentor up, mentor down, mentorship has no expiration date. It has no expiration date. And it really matters. So on this 9/11, I'm thankful for this nation's first responders, their military who have given so much. Some have given their full measure. Men and women such as the 13 that we lost in Afghanistan just the other day, most young. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of them. We lost 5 in the Navy in a helicopter accident just last week. These kids are great. I mean, they really step up. And so for our warriors, our fantastic nurses, doctors, firemen, police, thank you very much. And again, I say, for our youth, mentorship matters in a big way. Our planet is spinning so much faster today than it was when I grew up. Particularly today with a pandemic, an unknown security situation, economics, social media, and how that affects our youth. I mean, it is so challenging to be a kid. We're supporting Steve and his team, 2,400 kids in this part of Florida. The 5th largest in the country, I might add. There's no reason not to support 3,000 kids in the coming year or two. And so I challenge you to provide the resources to give these young men and women the hand up that they need so that they can continue to lead this country, be great citizens. It's an investment that just cannot go wrong. So I thank you for attending, for giving. Invest in America's future. Thank you very much.
So I was just telling the Admiral that this special piece of art is not for sale tonight, but it was created special by one of our littles to thank the Admiral for being here tonight and for his words. Thank you so much. You bet.